All right, let's get into the news. And our first story, like we said, Bob Iger gave a presentation at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference on Tuesday. It was touted as a town hall. I listened to the whole thing. They never took questions from any. I mean, the guy interviewed him, asked questions, but it wasn't like people in the audience were asking questions. And I think it was only audio. I don't think there was actually video of this, but he had some interesting things to say, which we will, of course, on here, like, we just want to reiterate. We're just going to talk about the theme park stuff. So there's a lot of things he said about a lot of other things about Disney. But again, this show's focus is theme park related. So that's what we're going to focus on, which he said some things.
Yeah, so the first thing he said was, we have one Avatar-based land, Pandora, in Florida. We're going to put a second one in California. And what he was talking about is, I think it was last year, he had said that they're going to do a Pandora experience in California. And everyone thought it was going to be something different. And then he just basically confirmed, yes, the whole land is going in. So,
but from Disneyland people, and I'm not a Disneyland expert, I've never even been, but to the people that I do follow that go to Disneyland, all of them said the same thing. Where? Like, where is this going? He also said in this that, well, we'll get into what else he said about Disneyland after this next thing he said. But my first inclination was just like, well, where is this going to go? And
that's a good question.
Avatar to me, and we talk about all the time about lands that maybe, at least in Club 32 in the live stream, we'll talk about, like, lands in which, what should Disney perhaps build? I don't believe Pandora or Avatar is really high up on the list of, like, lands people are really wanting to experience, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying I like Pandora, but I think if you were to poll most people, they would probably say, oh, we would love Arendelle, or we would love, a lot of other lands or ideas before you would even hit Avatar.
Yeah.
But it is well done. It has a great ride in it, but I don't know if it's because of Pandora as much as it's just because it's a good land with a good ride.
I don't know. The other thing he said was, Parks and Resorts is a wonderful story. Trends for this quarter show that domestic and international parks and experiences business will probably deliver in the neighborhood of low to mid-teens in terms of operating income. Now, I wasn't really sure exactly what this meant, but it didn't seem like he was like saying like, oh, it's doing amazing. We're just kind of like, well, this is where
he gave no specifics the entire time.
Right.
Like, as I listened to the whole thing, it was very much like he was talking, they brought up Disney Plus and he said it's on the road to profitability. He would talk about things like he never gave specific numbers, and the guy interviewing him wasn't pressing him. It wasn't like a hard-hitting interview. I'm sure he knew the questions ahead of time.
Right.
So a lot of the stuff he's saying was he would sort of say it and you're like, well, what does that mean? Like, he didn't go into details on this, but obviously he's a CEO. He's going to put it in the most positive spin that he possibly can.
And he also said, the company has entered into a phase where we can start building. We have thousands of acres of lands to develop. We could actually build 7 new lands if we wanted to around the world, including the ability to increase the size of Disneyland in California, which everybody thinks is kind of landlocked, by 50%.
Okay, I heard this part, and I simply was, why say this?
Why say that we could build 7 lands?
Why say this? I don't understand. When he said that, and they didn't have a follow-up question, and my first response was, first off, increasing Disneyland by 50%, and the Disneyland people have said, How? But why say this? Like, obviously, and I've been saying for months, you have Epic Universe out here opening in about a year that assuming Disney's going to have some sort of rebuttal to it for a while. You would think this would be the year in which they would announce something like, say, D23. But why come out and say, well, we could build 7 lands? That's like also being the person be like, I could buy 5 sports cars. Like, why? Either you can or you can't. Like, why would you say you can if you don't intend to do it? By him saying we could, it also, and I think it was Alicia Stella on Twitter, she was like, why does everything he says seems like a threat? Like, he says it in a way when you're like, what? Why won't you then? Like, what is this? Is this whole, like, we'll do it if you do something? Like, you know what I mean? I don't understand the reason as to why do this whenever people are already anticipating them announcing something. But then why go 7? I don't know. It's a very strange statement that he made.
I think, I think he's probably just maybe commenting on the scope of land that they have to work with. I don't know specifically. I did not listen, but I just, I grabbed this one. So it says 7 lands around the world. So that includes Disneyland, Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong, Shanghai.
Well,
Like,
I understand.
not Tokyo, but
He's trying to show strength.
sure.
And there was no follow-up to this. So, like, I guess my question just simply is, why even put this out there? Because now immediately, and maybe he did it to put pressure on the company. I don't know. Maybe you never know with this stuff. Maybe there's an internal battle going on and he's out here saying stuff. Because to me, this is just something you say. Like, it's like, well, we could go on 4 vacations if we wanted to. Why don't you do it? Well, I don't know if I want to. Like, he's not saying they're going to. He's just saying they could in terms of maybe it's land mass. Mm-hmm. I don't think they have they can always borrow money. I don't know if financially, I don't think you could build 7 lands at the same time. So it's just a very odd statement that he made without any specifics. But he made it. So I don't know what it means. I don't know why you would say it. It seems like sometimes when he does these, he just kind of creates problems for himself.
Well, it's we were talking about this last night with Club 32. It just seems like everything is just blue sky, up in the air. Nothing is concrete. Like, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, guys. It's coming. We're doing this, and there's nothing.
They've been
there's
saying
no
this
dates. I know
for like 4 years.
It's the boyfriend that strings you along. We're gonna get married. I'm gonna propose.
Yeah,
we're gonna get married.
Well, it's all a bunch of coulds, but like, why? Like, it's all these coulds, woulds, shoulds. Like, what? Just do it.
Could do it.
Like, just
might come in.
Right. And I think that's the thing a lot of people are getting frustrated by.
Yeah.
Even people, I'm obviously if you listen to the show for a very long amount of time, I'm very open in my criticisms because I feel like Disney has set a standard that they're not living up to for a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. And that's not because I want them to live up to it to make experiences in parks that as good as they can be. But you're even getting a lot of people that aren't as harsh as I am sometimes, which I feel like I'm fair. Maybe a lot of people may not agree with me, but a lot of people that are very, we'll just say, favorable most of the time, want to look at a positive spin, which is fine. They're even starting to criticize. So once you start getting to that point, how many more of these D23s can you do where you don't actually present anything and you just say, here's another blue sky idea? Which I'm not, I've been saying for a while, I'm not convinced that they're really going to present anything. And I think if they do come out this year and do say, we're going to do, whatever. Let's say they come out and they say they're going to do Encanto or something, or they're going to do an expansion over in Animal Kingdom. I don't know if they even start construction on it within a couple of years. Like, if they could come out and say they're going to do it and it still doesn't happen anytime soon. I mean, I've said for a while, you're probably still looking at the better part of a decade before anything would be done.
Yeah.
It's just I don't know. It was a strange statement. I don't know really what to take from it. I don't think the interviewer didn't press him on it. I don't really think anybody else is going to follow up with him too much on it. But I will say, with the proxy battle going on, the day before this, Nelson Peltz had released a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I kind of felt like he maybe would have more things in terms of like stats and things that come out, but he didn't really seem to do that. So
okay.
I don't know. Maybe we can look forward to 7 lands coming all around the world.
I mean, that would be great. That'd be great. But actions speak louder than words.